Couple of questions, Nancy. In the alternate conditions, it calls for a maximum of 283 persons limited in the building at any one time. How is that enforced?
They actually will be preparing reports which will be sworn to and presented to the city.
Okay, so...
It's the same technique that we use for the reporting for schools and enrollment.
So September 10th of next year, somebody goes by and they determine there's actually 297 people in the building. What do you do then?
If our officer goes in and determines that is the case, then we would deal with them in environmental court. It is a violation of their conditions of zoning.
And how long would a process be from the time that incident is discovered until it gets into court?
It would depend on the information we have, but we hold environmental court every 2 weeks, and so we have the ability to move cases through reasonably quickly if we've got the information.
So we could be into a 2-week cycle or so.
That would be correct.
Okay. And in the event there's some kind of a hearing and something happens and everybody goes back, and then October 12th, we determine there's 301 people in the building. What do we do?
Do it again.
And in November, we determine there's 315 people. What do we do?
We would go back again. As you know, every single day that there is a violation can be a new violation in court, and the maximum fine is $1,000 per violation. So
the opportunity to solve this is just not there. We just keep repeating this process?
Well, we would hope that we would be able to have that conversation and resolve the issue. And generally speaking, when we take folks into environmental court, the purpose is not to get the fine, but rather to work out the issue and make sure that we have the situation corrected so it doesn't recur.
Well, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. I mean, you know, how can you, from the city level, ratchet this up to a point in time that, just talk me through that, if you will.
Well, there's nothing beyond the $1,000 a day in terms of fines that we can do, but of course there are additional penalties that are provided for in our ordinances, including 6 months in jail for violation, and also community service. So there's additional things that can be done, and each violation we could deal with the people who actually control the property. And it could be more than one individual if there are multiple people responsible.
Okay, thank you.
Lee, I have a question.
Yes.
I heard it say several times that there would be 283 people within the building. And I know a lot of churches have festivals and other things at their site, and that is normally outside the building. Have we got any of this, did the conditions speak to any of that? I didn't see it, I was just wondering.
I need to check.
I also noted that I think it's 4 times a year they might get a special use permit for something greater than the 283.
That's the special event permit.
Can you give me some ideas as to what they are? I mean, is it like Christmas holidays, or Mr. Galloway, or someone from the church?
I think there are several holidays that are special occasions for the Church of Scientology, and the idea there was the Community Development Department did not have a problem if we had a special event that we have go through the special event process and limit it to no more than 4 times a year, that has a special transportation plan, a special parking plan, a special access plan, and those kind of things that the director would have to approve. Then we have dealt with those issues and could exceed the number of the occupancy total. So an open house or special events during the year would be limited to that, and we would have to go through the normal special events process with the City of Sandy Springs and address those issues and get it approved. As far as transportation plan, we could have off-site parking, bring guests to the facility from the off-site parking via van, shuttle, whatever.
I understand all that, but I was trying to be more specific, and again, I'm ignorant as far as the traditions of Church of Scientology. So I don't know if they, you know, like the Jewish religion has a certain calendar of events. The Christian religion has a certain calendar of events. The Catholic Church has a certain calendar of events. I'm just trying to understand what is your calendar of events, and does it differ from, or is it similar to any one of the three I mentioned?
It's similar. We have essentially one every season.
Mm-hmm.
One major event every 3 months, approximately.
Okay.
It's not on.
But it's not timed to, you know, I do a lot of work with Indians, and they do it based on suns and moons and other things. That's how they time their events. So I'm trying to understand, how do you pick your timing of your events?
We have an event between Christmas and New Year's. Families do whatever they do for their other holiday celebrations with other members of families. So we have one during that week. We have one on or about March 13th, which is the celebration of the birthday of our founder, L. Ron Hubbard, which is a big event. And then we have another one in the summer, which is approximately in the May-June timeframe. And then we have one more in fall. And we have an association of Scientologists, and it's a major international holiday, and that's celebrated locally. So those are the four major time periods, and it fluctuates based on how weekends fall, basically.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
The second is we approve with the alternate conditions, and the third is recommend denial. And at this point, the chair would like to entertain a motion for one of the three, or all of the three. But I need to hear something from somebody, please.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that the applicant has come back, and I've made a very direct point to the applicant that what was his options, and I think we heard loud and clearly that their only option was the alternate conditions. So I would suggest, first of all, we vote on what the applicant has brought to this meeting. And I would like to make a motion and then have some discussion.
So the motion's been made.
And I'd like to make a motion to deny the application.
Well, let's do one step at a time if we could. All right, the motion has been made to approve with the alternate conditions. Do I have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
All right.
He said deny.
Yeah, I didn't hear him say what you just said, Lee.
Well, let me back up. Start again.
I thought what you were asking us to do for discussion purposes was to have a motion to approve with alternate conditions. Is that not the case?
That's where I think we ought to drive the discussion and the motion.
Then why don't we, in order to have that discussion, I needed a motion from you, which is what I thought I got. I thought I got a second from this end down here. And now we're going to discuss the motion to approve with alternate conditions, and then we will vote on that motion.
But the word was deny.
That's an alternate that we're going to be discussing in a minute. Okay?
No. His motion was to deny the alternate conditions.
Deny the application or just deny the alternate conditions?
And what we can do here is if, Mr. Pond, if you could just clarify that. I think, as it was stated by the chair, there's some confusion, so if Mr. Pond would clarify.
I am personally a little confused is we have two of these plans in front of us. So first of all, I think we just need to consider one or the other, and let's move forward with it. So the applicant's made it very clear that he's not interested in the original conditions as was sent to the city council. So I am first of all suggesting, and I will defer to our chairman on protocol, that we put one or the other on the table, but it seems to me that we really only have one to consider tonight.
Well, that's all I'm trying to do is get one.
That is denied. Then go to the second one, which is the original approved conditions. And if that one is denied, then we go back to denial and use it as an orderly process to go through the three, as opposed to trying to do a free-for-all for all three.
If it's the pleasure of the Planning Commission at this point in time